Welcome to the Queens on Decks, where I interview female DJs from around the world. I am Michelle Miller, your host of the Royal Queens Rising podcast. We share our inspiring stories and secrets to our success. Deck show where I interview female DJs and artists from around the world. Today I have a very special guest. Welcome, DJ Shitty Princess.
Hello.
How's it going?
I am awesome. I'm so excited to be on this show. It's a gloomy day in LA, but this just brightens it up.
Woo! I love it. So we got to get into this. So how did you get your name?
Well, I've always had a fascination with Disney princesses, but the Disney name was taken. So I just decided to be pretty or shitty. And I thought shitty would break through more clutter. So here we are as Shitty Princess.
I love it. I love it. I have to tell the story. So we were scheduled to do this interview, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and we both forgot, which I had never done. And we were both in fire danger and foggy brain, smoky brain here in California. And I called you and I was like, hi. I didn't know your real name. And I was like, hi, is this Shitty Princess? You're like, yes, may I ask who's calling? And I'm like, Michelle, DJ RunDat. And then we had a really great conversation. And I just thought the whole thing was just a little silly because I didn't know your name. And I'm like, do people call you up on the phone and ask for you like that? Is that normal?
Yeah, they actually do. I had to take down my voicemail with my name and my company and stuff like that because it was just very confusing to people. So I just when people are calling, instead of being like, hello, this is blah, I'm just like, hello. I just say hello now, and hopefully they're like, hey, I'm looking for, me or Shitty Princess.
I love it. I love it. All right. So let's talk about the lampshade. What's the story behind that?
So the lampshade means several things at several different times. And honestly, it's whatever it means to my fans, which it also means different things at different times. So the origination of the lampshade, actually it's unknown, but sometime around the 1920s, people started putting lampshades on their head when they became the most drunk at a party. So if I'm the most drunk at the party while I'm DJing in the club, then you can get as crazy as you want because I'm going to be the one to take the fall for that. So you're never going to be that girl or that guy. Just get out there and start dancing. And that's what it means in a live setting. Also, just being a celebrity and seeing my friends and what being a celebrity has done to them, I didn't really want to be in that lane or that category. So it's also very protective to my friends and family. And I don't have that extra, oh, who is this person when I'm in the studio recording or when I'm walking around getting coffee, because people don't know who I am, or they don't care who I am. I'm just here for them in this fashion.
I love it. That's amazing. I didn't know about that in the 20s about the lampshade. That's hilarious. I
honestly had to research it myself because I knew it. I knew you when you partied, you would put a lampshade on your head, or when you were the drunkest, somebody would put a lampshade on your head, generally in a large party setting. But I never really knew the exact origin. I actually found this author that wrote a very comprehensive article about it. And I reached out to him, and he's way too cool of an author to mess with me. I couldn't even get a hold with him, but I actually just read this article, and it actually talked about the history of the lampshade and putting it on your head and society. And it actually changes over the decades. Maybe I should do a mini series on behind the lampshade.
Yeah, totally. It could be your podcast. Very cool. So how did you get started in music?
So I actually used to sell beer, wine, and spirits to bars, hotels, country clubs, and I sold major brands like Grey Goose, Crown Royal, and they always had like a musical artist associated with them. So I found fascination and resignation with working some of those deals on the business side. I thought I was not 12 or 16 anymore. So I thought being an artist really wasn't an option. So from there, I started managing artists. And then I realized I can do it. Like it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. And if I'm, managing people, then maybe I should just give this a try myself instead of saying those that can't teach, just go ahead and try it out. And people were really receptive. Friends, family, they all thought it was like super cool and fun. And so it just kind of stemmed from DJing, and then it got into music production, and now it is what it is today.
I love it. So, I on your Instagram it says celebrity DJ. So, can you talk into that a little bit?
Sure. So I don't really perform at the usual spots that you would think about in Los Angeles, or I don't really perform in a bar setting. It's more like an arena or a major nightclub. I was very fortunate that my first show I ever did was actually, I opened up for Post Malone, which was like crazy. One of my guy friends was throwing the show. It was New Year's Eve, and I just opened up in an arena setting. That was the first show I ever did, was for like way too many thousands of people.
Whoa.
And from there, we just kind of developed the brand as, okay, if that's the benchmark, it's that or bust. So it's like Post Malone or bust. So the cool part is I only play my own shows or shows with like major DJs. I also have a lot of friends that are, in the scene and celebrities, and sometimes they don't want to DJ their own party, or they're just throwing a party and they'll be like, hey, will you please come over? And I'll play for them at their houses and things like that, for their like private parties, but pretty much publicly. I play marquee shows as opposed to just DJing any and everywhere that I can.
Wow, that's amazing. Just right into the arena. I haven't heard
Right
that
in
one.
there. It was like the most scariest thing ever. But after that, you're kind of like, okay, everything else is easy. So I'm glad it was baptism by fire.
Yes, yes. Gosh, that must have been so amazing. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh my God, that whole concert was like one of the most fun backstages I've ever been to. So it was a company out of Denver, Colorado called Fayline, and Tyler Fay runs it, and he books shows and books talent. His dad actually started the company. His dad found the Doors and brought them to America, and the Beatles and brought them to America. So he has like a long lineage in the touring side, and he took a chance on an unknown kid, and God love him. But now I think he's happy, he's happy he did.
Yeah, of course. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're up to some big things. We've been talking about your consideration nominee for the 100. You go. You tell me more about this because I get confused. Educate me.
No, that's okay. You know what? I get confused too. So we are like totally all on the same page.
Okay.
So the Recording Academy has a pool of people that submit applicants. They submit artists, producers, mixing engineers, everybody in the community. And so there's a small group of people that submit other artists, producers, blah. So that small group of people, or some group within that small group of people nominated my album as well as myself. So my album called Shitty Princess, my sophomore album that's out now called Shitty Princess, is up for a Grammy, as well as myself as producer of the year, non-classical. Obviously I make electronic dance, pop music, kind of future pop music. So it's not classical clearly, but so I'm up in those two categories. Also one of my songs that I produced this year that I worked on called Lavender Skies is up for Song of the Year. And it's not the top 5, it's actually more like the top 100, because we have to vote. So the Recording Academy also within its shell has voting members, and those voting members decide the top 5 that you see on TV. So right now I'm in this larger pool of about 100 people per category. And I believe we find out in like November, December, who will actually be the top 5 candidates that you'll see on TV when they read off who is nominated for the Grammy. This is all new to me, so hopefully that like kind of explains it. The intricacies of the Recording Academy, are forever expanding and adapting and changing, but that's what's going on this year with it. So I am so grateful that somebody thought I was excellent enough to be nominated, and I am happy to be among the lists of people. Like when I look at the producers in my category and I look at the songs of the year, it's just amazing and such an honor to be a part of these major artists that are also on the list with me.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for breaking that down. I've always wondered how these different awards work, or different, like, there's the DJ Jane Top 100, and I'm like, how does this all work?
I've like never been on one of those lists or anything, and it makes me like so sad. I'm like, okay, the Recording Academy thinks I'm cool, but like nobody else does.
Yeah, like for a few years we had a top top DJ in our county, in Humboldt County, and I was still just kind of doing it more as a hobby back then, and then I started taking it way more serious in the last few years, but they haven't had that category lately that I've seen. So I'm like, wonder what's going on with that. Yeah, there's not really many awards where I live, so but it's cool to see you doing that. It's amazing. And your new album, talk a little bit about that. I've listened to some of it on SoundCloud. It's really fun.
Thank you. So it was funny because when I created this album, I was really in a space thinking that I would be live performing this album. So I made it a heavier dance electronic album than my first album, called Pretty Princess, which is pop electronic. This is more future bass, harder dance music, higher BPMs electronic. So I had intended of creating this album to tour this year on several shows that were unfortunately canceled. I was supposed to tour with Slushy. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a DJ, great guy. Supposed to tour with Slushy. I was supposed to do another couple Dylan Francis shows, and that just never happened. So that kind of sucks. But the album is intended to be performed live. However, stream away, throw your headphones on, bang your head, rock out. You can do that in your living room just the same as the club. So but the album's a lot of fun. I try to weave fairy tales and stories throughout and tell a story through the music. So it's intended to also be listened to front to back. So if you start with record 1 and come through till track 16, you will have gone on a magical fairy tale, which I hope everybody does and checks out and enjoys. And it'll take you on a journey. It's meant to evoke emotions and create happy feelings. And also, within the lyrics, even though they sound happy and poppy, they're kind of real. I mean, they're very real. Like, for example, on one of my songs, called Flaws, I literally just list out my flaws. So 3 of my biggest ones are, I always am like, and tell me if you feel this too. I feel like I'm always in like a crisis in a crisis in consciousness, and I'm like very indecisive. And I just am like constantly searching for like one-mindedness and being present. So I feel like I'm just kind of all over the place, and I just call out a song for myself and anybody else that can go on that journey or feels those emotions of just like, here's who I am. And in the song Flaws, I talk about just literally stepping over those flaws, just stopping those flaws. They're ridiculous, they're unneeded. And it's just about taking metaphorically those flaws, bunching them up, throwing them on the ground, and just stepping over it. It's like that Tupac quote. It's on the floor, it's on the ground, just sometimes it's not meant to be reconstructed. Sometimes it's just meant to step over and move on. And I butchered that Tupac quote, but it's a famous one, and I think you guys all know what that one is.
Well, I feel you. Like, it's easy. Well, I don't know if it's easy. Okay, one thing, straighten out your crown a little bit. It's leaning.
Oh, thanks, girl.
Yep, I'm on
That
crown.
is why I love All the women always are like, girl, your crown's on crooked. I'm like, thanks. Like having a booger up your nose. You're like, just tell me. I appreciate that.
There you go. It's not slipping now. So talking about flaws and coming back to the present. I've found myself, I've been doing a lot of new things. This podcast launched in July, and I started doing more coaching during COVID and more business trainings and speaking at online DJ conventions and some stretchy stuff that's out of my comfort zone. And I found myself being really overly critical. My flaws. I don't speak perfectly. I stumble on my words sometimes. I have brain farts, like all the things, and I found myself really beating myself up more than usual, and I don't really know why. And then I have to remind myself, like, you did it for one. Like, you
Right.
put yourself out there. Like, and this is
Yeah, that's like a round of applause for all you do to begin with. Shoot.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, I mean, so and just accepting that this is me. I listen to Amanda Francis. Her podcast is "And She Rises the Fuck Up," and she loves to swear and she loves being imperfect. And she talked about her grammar not being perfect and people always trying to correct her. And she's like, I don't want to edit it. And I'm like, I love that. It's just like, accept me. I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect, but also reminding myself that.
For
Those
sure. And
those
like when I write an email, I don't spell everything right the first time either. So that's just human. I think we've gotten to this point in society where it's like people need to realize being human is okay.
Yeah.
Being real is okay. It doesn't have to be filtered.
Yeah. Yeah. My business coach was talking about this yesterday about our humanness is like really our strong, that's the best part is our being human. Being human in
And
all of
that's
it.
like the part we try to hide the most, which is just ironic.
Uh-huh. Totally. So you've given me chills like 5 times or more. I lost count during this
Oh
interview.
my God. Well, thank you. That's like
Feeling,
an honor.
feeling the vibes. Feeling the
Love
vibes.
it.
Yes, yes. So what's coming up next for you?
I am so excited about the fall, and well, I guess we're knee deep in fall, but I'm so excited for late fall, and then winter into the spring. I have a lot more music coming out. I feel like I just dropped this record, but then I have singles on the books coming out as well. I'm so excited about this new project that I'm getting started with. Um, I have an amazing group of drag queens that have hopped on board to do an EP with me called Queen of Clubs. And my girl, drag's baddest bitch, Rhea Litra, is coming on board for the first single out the gate, which is going to be called The Queen of Clubs. And it is a dance vibe. It's basically about when you've had a shitty day and you just want to unwind, go to the club and have a little too much fun for your own good.
I love it. I love it. How that just sounds amazing. I've
It's going
definitely
to be incredible. I'm so excited about the visuals that are going to go along as well because it's just going to be unlike anything I have ever done.
ooh. Ooh, I can't wait to see that. How can we best support you in everything you have going on?
Oh my God, that's like such a nice question. Thank you for asking. That's like super nice. You know what? I'm gonna like pay that forward and ask somebody else like later that and be like, how can
Aw,
I best help you? Be
aw.
like, whoa, what? People still do that? Wow, that's so nice. Thank you.
Aw.
Honestly, the best thing you can do for any artist right now is follow them on Spotify, follow them on Instagram, share them with your friends if you like, the music and the song. And honestly, if you're digging the merch, feel free to check that out too, because a lot of artists, making music is expensive, and being in music, we don't really get paid a lot of royalties out, but we put blood, sweat, tears, and cash in, as you know. So it's kind of hard, especially with the live side being gone this year for a lot of DJs. A lot of DJs are used to making 6 figures on the live side. And when the live side isn't there because of COVID, we're having to rely on our other sources. So for me, that's really been my merchandise, which stinks because I've never had to like be like, hey, new merch drop. And it's good that I'm getting into that and I'm learning those facets and I'm designing really cool things that I think my fans can actually use and actually like. But that's, that's a mental shift. So if you have an artist that you really like and you enjoy, support them by buying that t-shirt, because that means a lot to them to be able to keep creating music, especially if they're an independent artist like both of us are. Or if they're just, hurting from the live side action. And if you don't want to purchase merch from your artist, or if that's not in your personal budget, because we know, everybody's going through everything, hitting that Spotify follow button, that's huge for us, because when you hit the Spotify follow button, you're notified when our new releases come out. And then we don't have to, hound you down or send you those links, and you just get it right away. As soon as it comes out, it just pops up on your Spotify. Shitty Princess has released a new record, and it's your lucky day you get to listen to it,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I had a question. So, do you have a manager or do you do all your own booking?
So I do everything right now. I have had managers in the past. I'm currently searching for a new manager, but it has to be the right fit. I have a business background, so I'm able to do a lot of things by myself. So I only need managers for specific reasons. I need managers. I don't really need a manager to be like, this, right? I need a manager to more like get on the phone to Ariana Grande and see if I can do a remix. So I need that type of manager. I've booked my own shows and everything like that. So it's all kind of a, steady running machine. I just need that extra polish and love if the right person comes along.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And yeah, you having a background in managing artists definitely helps you, manage yourself.
Oh, yes. But it's easier said than done. I'm constantly like, oh, I have to post today on Instagram, or like, where's my content? Where's your content, shitty princess?
Yeah, I know. Holding ourselves accountable. Okay, your crown's tilting a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Oh. There you
how
go.
about now? Are we back?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
You know what? We're flawed. Like, this is it. This is what it is.
We're a little sideways these days.
There we go.
Um,
My whole life is sideways. Like, welcome.
I know when we first talked, and it was like, I can't believe we both forgot. We were both in such a funny space of just chaos.
And that's like so effort on your side to produce this wonderful podcast that you have going on. So it's like, I was so grateful and I missed it. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? What is wrong with you?
And my team was like, what's up with that interview? And I was like, good question. And my calendars weren't syncing. And so I wasn't getting all the alerts and warnings on my phone to like keep me in line with my responsibilities. Yeah.
Well, here we are now. So whatever to that, it's still getting done.
Yep. Yep. So before we went live, we were talking about voting. So we want to make sure everybody is voting.
And my ballot right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop it off because apparently you can't like mail it anymore. Otherwise, I hear it may not make it in time to be counted, which would be tragic. So I love all the celebrities pushing that right now. They're basically like, your voting isn't the 30th. If you're mailing in a ballot, voting is now. Actually, voting was like last week if you're mailing in a ballot. So got a little catch up to do, but yeah, I'm going to be driving my ballot in instead of like mailing it, I think, to be safer than sorry. But I'm sure that's just like per jurisdiction or whatever, not, a national thing maybe, but.
Yeah, for me here in Northern California, we have these official ballot drop-off boxes throughout the county in different locations. So that's where I plan to drop mine. I'm going to do it tomorrow, by tomorrow. Got to do this. Thanks for the reminder and inspiration push.
Everybody just needs a little reminder, including myself. Like if it didn't show up in the mail, I'd be like, oh yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So any final thoughts? Any how can we find you online?
So I am on TikTok. I'm at Shitty Princess. On everything else, I'm at sh_TTY princess. Of course, like Shitty Princess was taken by somebody that's like not even using Instagram. So that's great. But basically, if you just Google Shitty Princess, it all pops up. It's all everywhere. I would love to see you on any of the platforms. So whichever one you're streaming music on, whichever one you're, scrolling on, I'm on all of them. Would love to see you there. And also, like, DM me. I love my fans. I talk to my fans. Like, DM me, say you found me on this podcast, and like, let's chat more.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really
Oh my
appreciate
God,
it.
thank you for having me. And I'm like so inspired by you. And I think you're really inspiring a lot of female DJs. And that's super, super important in music right now with the climate that we're at. It's still a severely male dominated industry. So to have women like you hosting interviews with a wide array of specifically female DJs is just so freaking cool. It's just so cool. Like, thank you. Like, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'll receive that. I receive that.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
Receive without question.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Why is that so hard for us to like take compliments? Because like we work really hard and then somebody is like, you're amazing. You're like, oh my God, me? Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I wonder if it's something you have to learn because with my own children, it's like I remember times being like when they're complimented, I remind them, tell them thank you. I mean, is that
Right.
the right response?
Yeah, because you have two kids.
Yeah, my daughter's 14 now, my son's 8,
Oh
so
my gosh.
I just
Did
have
your 14-year-old daughter just think like her mom's just the coolest?
my 8-year-old boy thinks I'm a legend.
Oh,
And my daughter thinks I'm pretty cool, but her friends think I'm way cooler than she thinks I am. So it's very interesting.
I love that. I don't have any kids, but I'm the oldest of 6, and my brothers and sisters actually have their friends be like, "Oh my God, did you know? Their oldest sister is like a DJ," and they're like, "No, that's not her. She's like famous and shit." And I'm like, and my siblings are like, "No, that's really like my sister." And they're like, "Bro, no," like they don't totally.
I love it.
And they don't think I'm that cool anyways. Like I'm still the biggest nerd. Like I will probably never receive like their acceptance, but I'm over it by now. And as long as they still love me, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're amazing. You're doing amazing things. Keep up the good work, and I wish you the most success. And I'm proud of you too for like pumping out this music and staying, in action during such a wild time in our lives.
Absolutely. Well, it takes a badass to know a badass. So thank you for being that badass for me today. You've really inspired me. And today's going to be a really good day because it started this way. So thank you for that.
Yes, it is. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Go to my website to claim your free gift, a digital copy of my best-selling book, How to Start a DJ Business. www.djrundat.com. Follow me on all social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at DJ RunDat. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To learn how you can book me or work with me, go to my website or email me at michelle@djrundat.com.